Right. I guess that means we are live. Good evening, agents. I'm your co-host from Behind the Scanner. Welcome to Lucky, episode number 13, our weekly Thursday night broadcast. Today's date is July 24th, 2014. My first co-host for tonight is Jorge Pedreo, also known as Triskel in Game. He is the Latin spice to my land face for radio, or internet TV, as it were. He is part of the Mexican resistance community. Everybody, please welcome Jorge. What's up, Jorge?
Hello, guys. Well, episode 13. It's great. 13 weeks. Well, 14 with the spur week. Just a reminder, you can watch the show later if you can watch it tonight at our YouTube channel at youtube.com/behindthescanner. We've enabled the Q&A tool for this Hangout, and if you have any specific question for our guests, please write it down. Write the guest name, and we are going to pick one or two questions during the show to ask them. My second co-host for tonight is Kelly Colton, filling in for Daphne V. In game, you know her as Agent Kelly. She's from Chicago, and she's very excited because of the only on August 9th. Please welcome, and thank you for joining us tonight, Kelly.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here with you guys. Although I do miss Daphne. I guess she's on the road, so she's
got to
always finding unique portals.
Always with that woman.
So, very cool. Well, one thing I want to bring up is that we have a Google form that you can use to submit recommendations for guests on the show, and that link is http://bit.ly/BTS_guest. Did I get that right, Andrew?
You did. bit.ly/BTS_guest.
So, all right, cool. So let's get started. Our first guest is joining us live from the 6th most visited city in the world. I don't know if Daphne's hit it yet, but she definitely should. So yeah, please welcome Yik Sheng Lee, also known as Agent MyGZ. Welcome.
Hey, Yik Sheng, how you doing? Oh, you gotta.
You had to put it on, Jesse.
There we go. Wait, we're getting there. Live video, children. Live video. This is awesome.
The excitement of live TV.
Hey!
Hi, everyone. Hi. I'm fine. A bit nervous, though.
Don't be nervous. It's just us and like a couple 100 or 1,000 Ingress players watching. It's okay.
Yeah, that's scary.
So my question is, when you're not decoding Ingress, drinking in the storyline as part of Operation Essex, and figuring out a way, the commonality of everything in the world of Ingress, how do you pay the rent and buy groceries?
I actually teach. I teach teachers how to use technology for their teaching. That's what I do, actually. Sometimes it can be pretty difficult.
Is that why you have all the books behind you? Those are all your academic books?
No, those are my hobbies.
Wow.
Yeah.
So speaking of hobbies, how would you describe yourself? What are you a fan of?
Technology, devices, history, sports, photography, loads of things.
Is there any one thing that stands out? I mean, obviously technology, so let's forget technology. Is there any one thing that stands out above the rest?
I guess movies and traveling. That would be great.
Since Daphne's Let me ask, since you like to travel, what is your unique portal visited, Kenneth?
Unique portal visited? Oh, it's when I travel, I don't ingress.
Ah,
Sorry, because usually it's with my family, so it's pretty bad if I'm always looking at a scanner when my wife or my family is around.
very true, very true. Well, keeping in the theme of sort of what you do for a living and all the books behind you and all that, and being a fan of technology, what is your favorite piece of science fiction?
Well, to be honest, I actually don't read much science fiction because I'm very much interested into history. But if you want to mention about science fiction, I think movies. Yeah, I would say that the science fiction movie that sort of like strikes me most that I can remember at the moment is the 2001 and 2010 series based on the books of Arthur C. Clarke.
Oh, interesting.
Wow. So, speaking about history, how important was Alan Turing for this world?
Well, I was just reading up on Alan Turing yesterday, and then I found this quote that says that practically everything that we use in computing, from our keyboard to our spreadsheet, it has its origins with Alan Turing.
Yeah, he pretty much everything he does or everything he did really permeates through the current world. He is the father of computing for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, basically, yes. Well,
Cool.
I think the other part
So,
about
have you seen the previews for the movie?
yes, I saw
Go
that,
ahead.
and
Go ahead.
it's really interesting because first of all, it has one of my favorite actor in it. Sherlock is still my favorite TV series. I know you're like Doctor Who or something, yeah, but Sherlock for me is still the best.
Oh, Benjamin Cumberbatch, right? Isn't that who plays him?
Yes, that's right, that's right. So I
Yeah.
can't wait for it to. I mean, I can't wait to see it in the theaters. Yeah,
For
it's
people watching who may not know what we're talking about, there's a movie called The Imitation Game that's based on Alan Turing's work of breaking the German Enigma machine during World War II, which is fascinating and really it is the basis for it shows the very first computer that was created, and that is, we're talking to you today through a machine whose lineage goes back to that. And it wasn't that long ago. So it's pretty impressive on how technology has changed the world.
So, speaking of technology, do you think that creating domestic robots with intelligent AI is a smart thing to do?
I think it's actually essential because we need some form of smart automation because we are basically quite forgetful and weak and less efficient compared to machines. It's just that I don't agree with having machines taking over and replacing what we do actually. Yeah. Yeah, just like in what you hear Richard saying in the deprecation video.
What does she say in the video?
Well, basically, you mean Ada or Clue?
Yeah,
Yeah, basically, we humans are considered weak, and because of that, we are actually stupid and petty, so should be removed.
interesting. Do you sort of agree with that, or
No way. No way.
I figured that was going to be your answer? But so how did
It should be everyone's answer, right? Because if we are to save humanity, we have to resist Ada in a sense.
is she really out for the extinction of mankind? You really think that that's her mission at the end of the day?
Well, I think Richard sees it that way. Yeah, that is really about the extinction of man, and Ada never say it's that's not true. She's just saying that basically that's how evolution should be. The weak should die and the strong should survive. And if we lose our individuality, so be it. She says it's a small price to pay.
Small price to pay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
basically, Ada is going to merge us into a collective hive, perhaps.
So sort of Borg-esque, I guess.
Yeah, reminds me of the box. Yeah,
Yeah, interesting.
yeah,
Um, well, we will definitely come back to this topic. But are you interested in taking some viewer questions right now?
yeah, yeah. That's fine with me.
Right now, we've got actually let's see, we got Nicholas Moore, and this is an interesting one. So also for those of you who don't know, who are watching, I guess Yik Sheng for the first time, not that he's been on before, but seen him or interacted with him, I would say that you're probably one of the foremost experts on the storyline. Safe to say that I could pepper you with a million questions about the storyline, and you would probably know all the answers. So,
That's not true.
oh, I think that's true. Don't be modest. Don't be modest. And so this kind of goes with what Nicholas Moore is asking. What are your thoughts on how Alexander the Great plays into the storyline?
Well, I think Alexander the Great definitely relates to 13 Magnus. Basically, all the greats are, and it's really interesting to study Alexander because he seems to be always searching for the secrets and perhaps the portals. All right, searching for artifacts, and there's always a cloud of mystery where Alexander actually went, whether the final resting place, the mobile coffin, the the coffin that he was placed in, whether that is itself an ancient NL1331, something like that.
So do you are
And
there? Go ahead.
yeah, and the other thing that I always seem to hang with Alexander the Great because they always seems to be sort of like searching for something, and somehow I feel that Hang is related to Alexander in some way, perhaps even some form of a recursion. But this is just me. Yeah, this is highly speculative.
Well, so Hank, as we saw him most recently, was a basically manifestation of, I guess, XM. Is that the right way to put it? A simulacrum. So could it be that he comes? Correct me if I'm wrong. He comes back every 1,331 days. Is that right?
Yeah, there's this recent anomaly, Helios. Yeah,
Hmm.
basically it ties in with the Greek god, and Alexander the Great is actually considered Helios in in his time, and
Ah,
so when this anomaly is named as Helios, all right, I'm just wondering whether will we see a return of Hang?
very interesting. I did not know that there was that connection there.
Yeah, but this is again highly speculative. I posted it some time ago in ASAX.
Now, Alexander the Great, though himself was he? He wasn't Egyptian, is he? Was he?
No, he's Macedonian.
Right. But there's been ties to Egypt throughout the game with
Yes.
some locations and some of the puzzles and everything else. How does that tie into? How does that fit? I guess the whole overarching storyline.
Well, it ties in with Osiris, because Alexander the Great considered himself the son of Osiris, if you want to put it that way, and he actually went to the oracle at somewhere in the desert of Libya, Siva, Oracle Siva, yeah, and then that's where he is confirmed that he is like the son of Zeus and Osiris in that sense, and that's when he actually went back to Alexandria and built the entire city, and that's where he is supposed to be have been buried, but his tomb is never to be found.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you will put it that way, he's like right now inside a 13 Magnus sanctum, waiting to be resurrected in a certain way.
You, sir, I think have just dropped a whole bunch of knowledge on a lot of people watching.
I hope I don't confuse people.
No. I think you've clarified a lot of things. So, thank you, Nicholas Moore, for kicking that line of questioning off. And we got one more that I think is kind of interesting. James 13 would like to know, what is your theory about the cell phone Deborah Bogdanovich lost in Zurich on December 2012, and the one found and sold on eBay in August 2012?
Well, I think they are different phones. That's my opinion. Because I think the phone that Ben had was not the one that she dropped while she was alighting from the train in Zurich. That's the one that she actually put into the two American travelers. Yeah. So were they Americans? I've forgotten. Yeah. So I believe it's a different phone because of the timeline issue here. Yeah. But I believe some other people have some different theories about the time is sort of like it's not fixed. You can change it.
Wow. Well, it seems a little bit obvious, but is the storyline the aspect of Ingress that you enjoy the most, or maybe going out and play is a little bit more into your enjoy of the game?
Well, two things I enjoy most about Ingress. First is the community, the friends that I find while playing the game, be it Resistance or Enlightened. Of course, I'm closer to the Enlightened because we gather more often. The second part of Ingress, which I really like, is the story. Yeah, because it's so deep and it's so complex that it's so interesting. Because I mean, at least for me, I know many of my friends, yeah, they do not actually go into the story much, but I believe after some time, you do need to have the story in order to inform the actions that you're doing in the field.
Yeah, I mean
So you find the storyline always coherent?
Well, to be frank, the storyline is scattered all over. Actually, it's so difficult to piece them together to make sort of like a coherent picture or an overview of things, some form of a structure. But that's the challenge of it. That's the joy of sort of like trying to piece all this information together and make a coherent story that you can actually understand and then use it, yeah, to inform whatever that you're doing, yeah, on your scanner. Which is one of the reasons why, although a lot of people are against Devra, I'm actually highly supportive of what she's doing right now, even though I'm from the Enlightened faction.
So that's interesting. We talked about Ada a little bit, but what do you think the ultimate goal of Devra and of Jarvis is in the game? Do you think they're telling the truth right now, or is there something more below the surface?
There is always something more, yeah, because but we can't speculate too much. We can only sort of speculate from what we have seen and heard. So basically, right now, from the conversation between Richard and Ada, we can see that Ada is basically saying that her path of evolution of mankind is actually similar to the Shapers, only faster. So if that is true, then both Ada and Jarvis goals would actually lead to human extinction or deprecation, the removal of biological humans. So that is something that I'm totally against. So currently, the only option to challenge this is actually sorry, Devra's portal virus. Yeah. So I believe I'm very against her inoculation plan, which actually kills 20% of the world population. But this current portal virus is actually effective to fight off both Jarvis, Ada, and Calvin and Oliver and the rest of the XM corporations. And this has been her intention right from the start. If you read Felicia's book, that she is very against the exposing the world population to heavy dosage of XM without their consent. And Hank is very against this as well, as we see in the recorded conversation between Hank and Deborah.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm for Deborah and I'm for Hank at this moment rather than for Ada and Jarvis. Yeah, for these reasons. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow. So, knowing what you know now, would you choose Enlightened faction again?
Yes, I will. Because if we read history, uh, Enlightened basically has the principle of questioning and challenging everything, tyranny and rulers that are sort of like oppressing, or religious sort of like structure that oppresses the people. So basically, Enlightened, in my viewpoint, should question everything. All right, and then like Hank, yeah, you know that XM has its benefits, but you must be careful with the shapers, and you must be obviously sort of like careful with Ada, and then find out the truth, and then make informed decisions from there. So as Enlightened, we should question everything to save humanity in that sense.
I have something here. I I I talk a little bit about this with another guest we have a couple of weeks ago. Are really Enlightened asking about everything, seeking about everything, information, the truth, or they are just in favor of shapers uh, loading information in your minds? Because that's like a little bit like the side of Enlightened, and I don't think the primary objective of Enlightened is that of seeking is um, getting searching for help from the shapers or these beings to evolve in certain way with their help.
I think the labels overgeneralize the factions, both factions, and uh, my understanding of enlightenment, I mean enlightened, actually is not so like the general view of most agents, all right? But I would say the enlightened view that best represents what I'm feeling and thinking right now is that of Hanks, all right? Which is basically, you need to see that things are not as it is, and then we have to be careful in finding out the truth and then making use of the truth to actually inform what we are doing. If the shapers are not really good, we have to resist and reject them. And if the XM is both good and bad, we have to make sure that only the good part is used and the bad part is rejected. Yeah, because after what Hank saw in Louisi crater, after all the exposure to the chaotic matter, he was having doubts, second thoughts about the benefits of XM as well. All right, and he's very clear from right from the start that shapers are not angels. All right, they may have influenced the development of civilizations and nations, but they are not angels, and we have to be very careful. But that doesn't mean that we don't establish sort of like a form of communication, like uh, Deborah said to Calvin. Yeah, we cannot just start a war based on ignorance. We just cannot label the shapers as bad and then we initiate a war or preemptive strike. We have to understand and communicate with them first before we actually know, whether they are bad or good. Same thing with Ada or with Clue.
So, another one of the names that comes up, along with Ada and Clue, is one of the researchers. Can you tell us a little bit more about Stein Lightman?
Well, he's a mystery actually. A lot of people, or he himself said that a lot of people consider him a fraud, a liar, but yet the NIA chose him because they must have seen certain gifts in him, much like Misty. Yeah, Misty also has saw like a checkered past, all right? But they saw that both these guys are actually sensitives with gifts of their own, and the thing is, Lightman is a mystery. So far, we have only heard his recording, his audio, but we have not actually seen him like Schubert. Yeah, we have only seen his profile online, and it makes us question: how do we actually know whether the Shaper glyphs interpretation that he is providing is actually canon or standard?
Ooh, so they could be false, or he could be misleading people, I guess.
Uh, I'm not sure about that, but I'm just curious, where does he get the meaning from? Recently, he asked us to sort of like provide him a lot of sort of like discussion concerning the new glyphs that he has posted. All right, and so far he has not gotten back to us on what is the actual meaning of those glyphs that he actually posted and asked us to discuss about. So I'm actually curious, how does he get his sort of like meaning and interpretation of the glyphs? Is Carrie behind this? I'm not sure.
Interesting. I guess time will tell.
Yeah, time will tell.
And do you have any information about how Lightman relates to H.P. Lovecraft and Robert E. Howard? I know that there was the glyph at the Robert E. Howard house. Is that somehow related?
I'm really not sure about that, but I would like to again speculate that it's more about Hank and Howard and Lovecraft. Yeah, and I'm very open to the idea that the person who actually made the annotations in the Krakow document is actually Hank himself.
Hmm.
And so that's why Hank is always going back to Howard's museum, you know, and then he's always searching for something there, because I believe he has been there before in a previous recursion. Now that's highly speculative, yeah. Because in Thomas Grainer's book, yeah, in the early chapters, Hank has flashbacks of World War II. So I'm not sure whether that is indicative that he has actually been sort of like going in a cycle for a long, long time, even from World War II period. That's why in his diary he says that he knows he knows that he needs to go to Berlin, but he's not sure why. But he feels very familiar with the place. Why is that so? We are not sure at all. Actually, he went to not only Berlin, but he went to Leipzig and I think Dresden as well. Yeah.
Interesting. That's there's a lot of information to try to call and figure out the backstory, piece all these things together. So,
Yes, it's not easy. Yeah. But Operation Essex helps a lot, really.
Yeah, you are part of Operation Essex. Can you describe what this is? What is this, and what is your role there, and in a general perspective of Operation Essex?
Operation Essex is started by Edgar, all right? And recently, Susanna asked us for a response, and I posted my response. Basically, same with Hugo from the Resistance. Basically, we are all truth seekers, even though we are from different factions, all right? And that is our position currently. Yeah, we are truth seekers trying to find out the truth about this whole world of Ingress and the Niantic project. All right, and then we are trying to get past our labels and our factions, and we have to come to that kind of understanding in order actually to sort of like know who the enemies are and who are actually the friends.
now,
Wow.
can anybody
Well,
join Operation Essex? How does somebody get involved with that?
Sorry.
How how does somebody get involved with Operation Essex if they want to learn more?
Well, basically, Operation Essex is open to the public. Everyone can actually see what is being posted there. But of course, we have hangouts where we will sort of like share our thoughts and, of course, do the normal stuff, making fun of each other and etc. Yeah. So basically, previously to join ASEX, you would have to answer a few questions. But I think that criteria is right now. I'm not sure whether it's still in place or not. Basically, the mods or the moderators will actually sort of like identify who are the people and add them in. Yeah, Kelly is one of the moderators.
Yes,
Did you
but
say
with your vast knowledge, I feel totally unqualified to be a mod of Operation Essex. I think you should maybe take over.
No, no, you're doing a fine job. Don't worry.
Thank you.
and did you mention this is a G plus community, right?
Yes, yes. Operation Essex is a G plus community, but it's public. It's not private. Yeah, everyone can read. Yeah, what is being posted there. Yeah, you can disagree, you can challenge it, but that's how we form our thoughts.
Yeah, we can go ahead and put a URL link to the community. So I'm sure after tonight, a lot of people will want to pick your brain a little bit more. So thank you so much for joining us tonight and being our first guest. So can you stick around a little bit for a panel discussion towards the end if we have enough time?
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you very much. And well, our second guest this evening comes from the state where the first department store in the country was opened. Please welcome Jess Runowski, also known as Dispatch Derb. Welcome, Jess.
Jess.
Hi there.
And actually, I have to clarify, I wrote that intro, and it's the first department store in the United States.
Right.
A lot of people watching from around the world. So. Welcome.
It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And well, when you are not being part of the contributing force behind the resistance, what are you being a contributing force to?
When I'm not contributing to the resistance, I'm contributing to my community. I really love being involved in anything that can make the community a better place. My career choice, I'm a 911 dispatcher. I have been for, I think it's 8 years now. So I really do enjoy doing everything that I can to make the community around me a better place, and helping the people in that community become better people as well.
Very cool. And in terms of building your own Ingress community, do you have any tips for new players that are just coming into the game?
Absolutely. New players, there's a lot of them, especially now with the iPhone, iOS coming out. The biggest thing that you need to do, whether you're going to be a casual player or a player that gets into things like Operation Essex, you really need to connect with other people around you. You're going to learn a huge amount about this game and, well, the game, or the whole storyline and everything by connecting with the other agents. You can learn, obviously, your resonator placement, what all your mods are for, how to make those links and fields, how to do the big ops that everybody does. But you can't do it all on your own. And we all know that, as you get to the higher levels, you have to work together or you're never going to get gear. So, for any of you new players out there, make sure that you reach out, whether it be on G+ or in the comm. Reach out to the other people that you see around you and take the advice and let them help you.
Yeah. Great advice.
Just like in your real life, when you're focusing on contributing to the community, I mean, Ingress really is a communal game. You really have to have those interactions, I believe, personally, to get the most out of it. So,
oh, yeah, absolutely.
On that note, talking about communities, I have an extremely important question that I gotta ask you.
Okay.
Do you have any extra Hangout patches left? I must be up to number 200 now.
Yeah, I'm up there with you. I think at one point I stopped counting at 700. So I started deciding that maybe it was time to archive a few. But the Hangout patch order for the U.S. has just been put in. I can see if Sven is willing to let me add another one on there for you if you want to.
I'll pay you double.
So I think I ordered a couple extra, but I'll have to go look.
All right, I appreciate it. We'll move on to something a little bit more serious than patches. But for
Okay.
those of you actually that are watching that don't know, not just Jess and Sven and others, but the community as a whole creates these really neat pieces of swag. In fact, there's things like these little keychains right here that they create and sell that some of the folks won a couple weeks ago. Hopefully, they should be arriving in the next couple days. So do a search on Google Plus for Ingress, and if you're new, just drink it all in. You're gonna find a lot of cool stuff. But
Yeah, and the swag doesn't stay just for, things like, the Enlightened or for the Resistance. We do also do, we did one just recently. Ryan had done a patch that was for a fundraiser. We have a very highly respected agent in, the whole community, not just Resistance, but who has lost his son. And so we found out that his son didn't actually have a permanent marker on his grave, and so we decided as a community that that wasn't acceptable. So we did a patch order. We accepted donations, and that fundraiser patch should be. I think it's going to be a couple weeks, but so that was a nice big fundraiser that we did. So we do those as well. It's not just all about the game. The community itself, we take care of our own. So
yeah, very cool. And another aspect of Ingress, actually, there's a whole side of it that, and this is going to sound weird, but if you watch like the Ingress Obsessed, or you saw our interview with Ruth Shepard, there's, again, this is going to sound odd, but there's like a medical side of it too. And for you suffer from hereditary chronic depression.
I do.
How has Ingress and how you've played it and experienced the game and all the social interactions, how has that helped you with that?
Well, for a lot of us, the mental illness of any kind, whether it be depression or, bipolar or schizophrenia, they're things that, they're embarrassed to talk about it because, there's that stigma of, oh, well, you have a mental illness, so you must not be, you must be crazy. Well, a lot of us, we have those hereditary, things. They're not just something where, the depression is, based on a specific situation, and that's just as serious. But there's a lot of us that we don't have a control over that. Like, for example, I just don't make those happy chemicals. And most people in my family, we just don't. So, obviously you can do what most people will do and go and take medication, which is, often helpful. But, like right now I don't have insurance. So as far as paying for that medication, $200 out of pocket every month isn't necessarily easy to do. So, but Ingress has been a huge benefit for me because within that community you find all these amazing people. And I tried to explain this to my dad a long time ago, but he didn't get it because people from the internet are horrible, evil beings. So they must be the same if they're coming from a game. But through Ingress I have met people that I consider them family. And just the other day I was out helping another agent move. We were discussing any concerns that we had actually about the show, and I was like, sorry guys, I'm helping an agent move right now. So we form not just those communities, but we form friendships and families out of all of these things. And so when you have those hard times, we do those fundraisers if we can, if that's going to help. Or, if you just need to call up and talk to somebody, there's always going to be somebody who's willing to let you talk, willing to let you cry, who's willing to, just come over and give you a hug if you need to. So that's been a huge help for me to make it through, this time when I can't depend on the medication that I really should have. but I can depend on the people who are there for me.
Yeah, that's really cool. It is, the Ingress community is really a big, large family.
It is. I mean, and like, you and I, Andrew, are on separate teams, but yet I don't have any problem talking to you because you're a pretty cool guy, right? So, but if you were close to me and I could easily get there for you if you needed something, I'd be there. So I don't think that, factions should really dictate that. I think that that's something that, you get to know the people, and the people are what really matters.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to jump in and go on this tangent for too long, but I mean, people have found jobs through their Ingress relationships. They found love through Ingress relationships. They've become just better people through it. But like
Yeah.
families, I mean,
my boyfriend and I actually met through this game. So, yeah, there you go.
And like families, brothers are going to fight sometimes. Sorry, go ahead, Jorge. Oh, are you there, Jorge?
Yeah. I think I'm having some problems with my connection. Can you hear me?
We're good. You might be having a little bit of lag, though. It sort of sounds like.
Yeah. Well, I'm really moved with Jesse's story, and I would like to know, how did you get into Ingress? You were a gamer or an ARG girl person before before you were into Ingress, or how was it?
I got into Ingress because the guy I was dating at the time was playing, and he was never around, and I was always frustrated, and it was like, why aren't you here? And so I started playing because he finally just he wore me down to a point where I was like, all right, fine, I will do this stupid thing that I had told him so many times I would never put it on my phone, and I think I probably have an English problem now. My name is Jess, and I have an Ingress problem. But no, I was never a gamer before this. I think the extent of the games that I had played before were Mario Kart, which I'm apparently pretty good at, and Tetris, which is really helpful when you go to move, by the way. Tetris and your knowledge is really good for packing cars really tightly.
Yeah, I can see where that would be practical, actually. All right.
Cool. Well, Jess, are you open to taking some viewer-submitted questions?
Sure.
Awesome. So I'm kind of curious about this. Dominic Hoffman writes, what is up with that pink thing you carry around?
Okay, so no, he's talking about Sly. Sly is a stuffed pink poodle that is from Build-A-Bear. And Sly, the story of Sly traveling actually started with some high school friends and I. And I was living in Minnesota at the time, and one of them was getting married, and we had grown up in Michigan, so I had gone back. And we were kind of bored waiting for our appointment to go to find out our bridesmaids' dresses. So we went to the mall, and we decided, oh, it would be fun to make this stuffed animal. And I was like, well, why don't we take Sly and he can travel around with us, because I love to travel and they love to travel, and none of us had kids, so that way we would have something that we could take pictures of in all these random places. This is before all the selfies and everything were such a big deal. So Sly, he wears little Build-A-Bear boxer shorts and a little Harley hoodie, and he goes around with me everywhere I go. And if you check out my G+, you'll see random pictures of Sly. Pretty much anywhere that I go, he goes with me. So he's been, it's all been in the U.S., but he's been all over the country. The last place we went was Asheville, but he's been, to southern Utah, to the canyon there. He's been to the headwaters of the Mississippi in Minnesota. So there's pictures of him everywhere. And so that's that pink thing that I carry around.
Okay, very cool. Wow.
Yeah, it started out as a joke, something that we would do that was fun, and I was posting pictures on Facebook for my family because, you know, I'm just crazy, and so they were having a good time with it. But I kept it up really because my cousin has a daughter with Down syndrome, and so she thinks it's the coolest thing ever to see where Sly goes, and then she can learn about those different places as well. So it's worked out great, and apparently people from Ingress like it too. So.
Well, and that has me curious as well as one of our viewers, Kurt Sorensen, writes in, how many unique portal visits do you have now? Do you want to race to 10,000?
So Kurt and I, what he's not telling you is that Kurt and I have had an ongoing competition. He's an Enlightened agent in Northern Colorado, and of course I'm Resistance, and so we've had this ongoing competition because he travels a lot for work. So we originally started, we were going to race to 4,000, and I hit 4,000 while he was on a plane to DC. So, and he was kind of upset with me. He actually sent me a message. He was like, "You're not even going to give me one night in the city?" I'm like, "No." So, but I found a couple extras today, and so I think I'm up to 7,350, I think is what it was today. So, but yes, of course, Kurt, I will race you to 10,000.
Nice. I like that challenge.
Yeah, it's really fun. So.
You know where Kurt is at specifically?
Yeah, Kurt is from Fort Collins, Colorado.
Oh no, I mean with his UPV count.
Oh, no, I don't. Usually I'm ahead of him. He actually he got mad at me once because my stats are not public. So he got mad at me, and so every once in a while we'll throw back and forth. We'll throw our screenshots of our stats because he was like, "I thought I was ahead of you, but then I couldn't check." So we have an ongoing hangout where we talk about other things as well because we are good friends. But so every once in a while I'll open up my phone and there it is on a hangout of, "Hey, I'm at this today. What are you at?" So it's always fun.
Aww. And your cross-faction relations must be very good. A good friend of mine on the Enlightened, Scott Jacobs, writes, when are you coming back to Colorado? We miss you.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I would really like to figure that out. There was talk of maybe being able to run back this weekend, but now that I'm working out here in Utah, it's kind of a matter of, you know, when are the paychecks going to start and when am I going to be able to afford it. But I will definitely make sure that everybody in Colorado knows, and we'll have a little get together before I come out to Utah for sure for final.
Well, it seems that you have a pretty healthy cross-faction relationship there, and so can you explain how you encourage to these cross-faction meetings and everything?
Well, Colorado itself, I was very happily surprised when I moved to Colorado that the cross-faction community there is very open. Everybody is happy to, you know, stop and get a beer together because beer is a big Colorado thing. But, you know, if we go and take down, you know, an Enlightened farm, say, for example, Berthoud, it's a pretty decent Enlightened stronghold. It's always an 8 farm. But if we as Resistance go and take it down and the Enlightened are there, you know, hey, let's just go get a beer. And so everybody does. It's not a big thing for us because we do realize that there are people behind all of it. And we have a good time. We've had the cross-faction awards back in January. So I know that they're planning on trying to do that again next year. But now that I'm here in Utah, I've joined the Utah Ingress community, and I'm a mod there now, and so we're trying to figure out how we can, you know, create more events where we can do a lot of cross-faction things because you know, the relationships between the factions here aren't, you know, what I'm used to in Colorado, but you know, we'd like to be able to see that we have that, especially with November. Lima's coming back to see us in September. And we would really like to be able to, you know, not that we would have any fights or anything because we're not that way, but we would like to have, a good Ingress front, not just two factions that are, playing for their own thing. We'd like to be able to have those events and everybody goes in together and says, hey, you should really play this game. Regardless of what side you play, it's awesome.
Well, I really have a weird question here, but can you give us an idea? Who was the poop cupcake idea, and please elaborate a little bit for those who don't know what is this about.
Okay, so for the cross-faction awards, we had a cross-faction committee that was planning it, and we had people obviously from both factions. And because I was new to the area, I was kind of considered the neutral person in case there were any problems with deciding who was going to be the winner of whatever award. I could, since I didn't know anyone, I could just go based on their game statistics or the stories of what they had done themselves. So, but Agent Soccer Mom had a great idea because the actual awards themselves were held in Denver at an Enlightened Agents business, which is called Strange Grounds. So if you ever get to Denver, you have to go there and see Agent Think Jason and Agent Coffee Goddess. They have the best coffee and the best chai you'll ever find. Sorry, not trying to, advertise, but it really is. But we had a great time, and Jason has probably 6, 7, I don't know how many portals now, right down there on South Broadway. And they're all together, but they're usually an Enlightened 8 farm. But there is one that is for the mural that's in the window at Strange Grounds. So Soccer Mom had decided how funny would it be if we came up with this poop cupcake, because everybody loves cupcakes. And for whatever agent flips that portal, because you're kind of coming into somebody's territory and they own that place. And so if you go in and you flip that portal, then that's like, hey, I'm going to come to your house and I'm going to poop on your coffee table. So it was really funny. I can provide pictures of the poop cupcake. It was apparently pretty funny when she went to the cupcake place itself when she asked for a poop cupcake. But it has little flies on it on top of the icing, and it was really great. And it's like gold. And so I can't remember which agent it was, but Jason made a big deal about it and came out there and he was like, hey, that's my portal, what are you doing? And I've got a gift for you, and here we go with the poop cupcake. So it was pretty awesome. And Soccer Mom and we kept it secret until the actual night itself. Didn't tell any of the others that were on the panel that it was going to happen, and so they were all surprised as well, and it was really fun.
So I gotta ask, as a dessert aficionado, what flavor was the poop cupcake?
I'm honestly not sure, but I'm gonna go with chocolate because it is a poop cupcake.
That makes sense.
So when you're not working with very interesting confections and playing Ingress, what would you say your craziest mission-related Ingress story is, good or bad?
Mission related, I would have to go back to Boulder Recursion. We got together with the guys here in Utah. It's actually my first interaction with the guys in Utah outside of Hangouts. And we, myself and Agent Disintegrator, Tina, we made a trip down to Four Corners, which I was really excited about, but I forgot Sly, so that kind of sucks. But we went down there and Google lied. It was supposed to take 8 hours to get there, and it took 10. So we had a total of half an hour to farm for keys. So we met down there with Phil from Salt Lake City, and we got as many keys as we could, and we went back. And the plan was that we were going to cover all of Boulder, and we were going to cover all of Provo, who was also having an anomaly that day. So but that was back when the cells only counted for the 3 the 3 checkpoints before the end of the anomaly. So we were determined that we were going to put up this huge field, and we were going to blow the Enlightened away by owning the cell, which we don't really field a whole lot. We do sometimes, but I'm not known as a fielder, so it worked out really well because they weren't expecting it from me. So we went down, we got the keys from Four Corners, and so Utah sent folks to Kemmer, Wyoming, and also to Valmy, Nevada, and they threw to Four Corners, and they threw over to Valmy, and then Valmy to Four Corners to do their side of the field. And in the meantime, Agent BMX Wiley was he from Houston to go to the Boulder event, and he and we were sitting in a cow field, and I'm not kidding, it is in the middle of a cow field at Fort St. Vrain, and I actually had to go in advance to the farmer because I didn't want him to call the police on us when we went into his field at 4:30 in the morning. But it is actually a public road, so I wasn't trespassing. And he was like, "Oh, that's cool, but thanks for letting me know because somebody going into your field in the middle of the night is something to be concerned about." So, but it was a little bit crazy, but it was also fun. And Agent Wizard Dan went and took it out 28 minutes later. But it was awesome, and we had this cell for the first 2 of those checkpoints. So.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so there are portals in cow fields apparently. So go find those portals.
The bovine units, right?
Yeah, well, we called them moo units.
Moo units, yeah, that works. Yeah.
All right. Well, Jorge, I think you're on mute, buddy.
So sorry, somebody is doing a lot of noise in the house. So, well, sorry. For the last question for tonight, what is? Have you learned something about yourself that English had taught to you?
Well, I've always been a really social person, so as far as like the community and the friendship and all of that, that's not really something new to me. The levels of commitment that friends can give you, that's something new that I've never seen before. The friends, and like I said, I call them more like family, that I've met through this game are definitely a huge attribute. And but as far as what I've learned about myself, I'm a lot stronger than I thought I was. So I've had to go through a whole lot of tough times, and with the help of those people, I've learned that I can do it. And a lot of people don't realize that about themselves, especially if you are like me and you have the depression that you deal with. Knowing that you are strong enough to be able to do those things is really a big deal. So.
Yeah, again, the social aspect, getting involved with your community, getting to know these people. I mean, that's what Ingress is about.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. The community is the biggest thing for a lot of us.
So, well, hey, thank you for sharing some personal stories with us and just answering our questions in general. Can you stick around? We'll do a little panel discussion right now.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. All right, let's bring back Yik Sheng here real quick. There he is. Let's unmute his microphone. In 3, 2, 1. Maybe not.
Go.
Well, while our cameraman
There
works, there it is. All right, good. Welcome back, Yik. How's it going?
Yeah, it's fine.
What time is it there, by the way? You're in Kuala Lumpur. It's got to be early, right?
Yes, it's 10 in the morning.
Oh, jeez. Well, that's okay. You've had breakfast now already, so it's okay.
Yeah.
All right. For the panel tonight, actually, I'd like to discuss something that Robert Burton actually put in the Q&A, and that is, what is everybody's thoughts about the factions having to work together? Well, they don't have to, I guess, but what we're starting to see is factions working together to meet that 700 million mind unit goal in order to defeat Deborah's virus. So for those of you watching that don't know, the reason why your portals decay so fast right now, or if you're new, you don't have the historical experience to realize that they are decaying faster. They're decaying at a little bit more than 100% faster, 34%, I think it is per day, because of a virus. Deborah Bogdanovich introduced a portal virus. So to stop that, we need to cumulatively create or capture, control 700 million mind units at least by the end of the Helios anomaly. So in order to do that, a lot of people last week, in fact, some of our guests on the show proposed that the factions work together and create these multi-layered, massive fields so that we can reach that, because nobody wants to have to recharge their 100 portal farms 5 times a week. It's just a little bit difficult. So that being said, I'm going to start it off. We'll do the same sort of format as we did last week. If you have a comment, just jump in, say it. Don't necessarily have to wait your turn or raise your hand. Let's get argumentative and combative. One day, Jorge, we'll split that with you. Thank you for that. I still have it here. Sure. So we'll start with Yik, because he's been on hold for a while. Cross factions working together to defeat Deborah's virus. Good thing, bad thing? What do you think?
I think it's a good thing because sooner or later, I think the factions will have to join together to fight someone else if humanity is at stake.
Interesting perspective. I hadn't thought of that, but yes, very interesting. Do you think we can accomplish it?
I believe so. We have to save ourselves.
That's true. What do you think are the consequences if we don't? Is it just going to be 34%, or do you think it'll be like 66%?
Wow. It's well, when it comes to saving ourselves, I'm sure everyone will put in their efforts. Yeah, I'm quite sure of that. Unless we are truly sort of like blinded to it. Yeah, we are really following a cult or religion.
So Kelly, Yik Sheng is saying that failure is not an option. How do you feel about that?
I feel pretty neutral about the subject. I know that maybe this is not the popular opinion, but I feel that things are going to happen no matter what we do. Maybe a very pessimistic view, but
It's out of our control.
I feel that things are out of our control, and Deborah has been out of control for a really long time, and there's no one stopping her. I think more is going to be needed than just the 700.
When do you think we will find that out? What is your crystal ball telling us?
I wish I had a crystal ball, but I don't know. And maybe, so much happens around Hank. Maybe Hank is the person that we need to talk her down. And, they've been friends for so long and have a history together that, maybe Hank is the person to help us out here. But I think that no matter what we do, that we're just, even if we met her demands, I just don't think that she's a reasonable person right now, that it'll have any effect.
So Hank is our Anakin Skywalker. He's going to bring the balance.
Our only hope, Hank.
Well, he's come back to life so many times that if you field over Hank yourself, that's got to be like 100 million mind units, right?
Yeah.
So Jess, you're part of some really good cross-faction communities. What are your thoughts on it? Have you been part of any of these big fielding things yet?
I have personally not been a part of the large fields. I'm really not great at fielding. If I'm going to be part of a field, mostly it ends up being planned by somebody else, and I'm just there. I'm more than willing to take down all the links and stuff, but I'm not a big field planner. So I usually leave that to other people. I kind of side with Kelly on this, though, that Deborah's not in a good place. She's doing what she can to get the attention that she wants. And that doesn't usually work out well in any form of life. So, I mean, like, I guess if you want to take it and become, you know, uh, extreme about it, she's almost like a terrorist. I mean, do you negotiate with them, or do just let them think that whatever they're doing is going to get them where they want to be? So I'm really unsure, because if we do give her what she wants, is she going to take that as, oh well, they did it this time, so now they'll do it next time and raise that, so it's 900 million, or is she going to be satisfied? I mean, I'm not really sure. So I mean, I am obviously a big fan of the cross-faction get-togethers. So, I mean, if they want to work together, if Enlightened wants to work with us as the Resistance to take a stab at it and say, well, we're never going to know if we don't try it, then fine. But I'll just sit here at my computer and I'll dispatch everybody. So, I mean, that's what I do. I dispatch and I help with intel. So, as far as the planning goes, I mean, I'm more than happy to work with the team, but I'm not necessarily the one who's going to go out there and plan those big fields. So
I'm going to take a slightly antagonistic role, because I think in the last week I've changed my mind a bit on this. I know that Jorge, this is going to be his one chance to jump up and clobber me. I kind of enjoy the decay as it is right now, because there is so much activity going on in the game.
Yeah.
It's kind of giving a little shot in the arm of adrenaline, I guess. And now, it really stinks when you've got to drive around and recharge your 90-100 portal farm multiple times a day, and I'm almost completely out of power cubes. But
well, I would like to just know why you're complaining about having a farm that big, because I wouldn't be complaining about that farm. So, I mean, just throwing that out there.
Because it's convenient. I like it because I can go there and hack everything, and it's convenient. I don't have to set it up. I can put it up once and it stays. But so yeah, it's so you've got the storyline aspect of it, which I totally agree with you guys. Maybe it'll satisfy her, maybe it won't. But from a gameplay aspect of it, I've masochistically been sort of enjoying it. I don't know. Right? You disagree?
I kind of wonder if the timing is because of the iOS development. Because, I mean, we are having all these new agents that are coming in because now they can use their iPhone. So, I mean, as far as that goes, it's really good timing for all those lower levels, and they can get a lot of AP really quickly. Not that I really enjoy having to charge a Guardian or 7 or however many you have, every single day and be so worried about it, because so many of us don't have that Black Guardian or Onyx or whatever it is. That's kind of frustrating, and I can see your point of view as well from not wanting to charge your farm all the time. But I also see the side that you're saying, that it does get a whole lot more action going, and people are out and they're moving and they're doing more. So, I mean, if you want to look at it from that side, you can also go for the badge for unique portal captures. So, I mean, you can really go either way really easily.
But doesn't it also sort of make the Guardian badge a little bit more difficult? You have to pay more attention to it, because it's going to decay and essentially.
It wasn't hard enough as it was?
I think you find people that say it was too easy. Yeah.
Well, I would like to know where they're putting their Guardians, because I would love to have one there.
Well, and for some people, that maybe don't pay attention to Google Plus or don't pay attention to the story, this change really hurt them because they didn't realize that this was enacted, and so there were people that actually left their Guardians to decay because they didn't realize that the rate had changed. So.
Yeah, my dad is one of those.
Let that be a lesson. Pay attention.
Yeah. So again, that goes back to get involved with your community, with your locals and with G Plus, and get involved, because these are things that you're not going to know otherwise. And a lot of those new people are not going to learn these things, but that also puts a lot on us as the older, I guess, old guard players. where we need to be doing a lot of that recruiting, not just for that Eve badge, but because you've got all these new people and they don't know what they're doing, and they do need some guidance, and they're not necessarily going to know that these communities even exist without us going to them and saying, hey, come with us.
Mm-hmm.
And if they want to know about the storyline, all we have to do is point it to Yik Sheng and have him answer any question you have.
No, my
Anyone
God,
plus?
we have to do a special show with him and some other guests.
Ooh, that's a great
We
idea.
could go like 3 hours or 4 hours of
Oh.
a panel. It would be so great.
Jorge, what do you think about the whole decay thing and working together and the virus and everything?
Oh well, I'm with you. I think it's
Really?
punched. Yeah, I said it last week. I think it sets the adrenaline up and everything is in the move. The city is live again. The players are more active, and they are going to some places that they don't usually go into because, well, they are used to certain area, and now they suddenly saw some portals that they are almost dead, or they are already dead, and they are running to catch them first. And I think it's great. I don't know if it works everywhere as a push to make the factions to work together, especially in Mexico. I think we are not there yet. I hope uh, soon, but we are not there yet. But I think it makes things more active. The game comes to life again, and so it gets a big breading again. So it's really cool.
Excellent. Well, any final words from anybody? No? All right. Silence is concurrence. We all agree to agree or disagree, and that's where we'll leave it at. Want to thank our guests tonight for showing up. Appreciate it. Yik Sheng from Kuala Lumpur and Jess from former, I guess, Colorado, now Utah, right?
Yeah, Utah now. Well,
Yeah.
according to the post office, I'm now in Utah.
Well, there you go. Well, I think the post office is official, so if they say you're in Utah, you're in Utah. If your mail's getting forwarded, you're in Utah. So thank you for joining us tonight. Really, really appreciate it. If you, our guests, or anybody out there watching, know somebody that might be a good guest, please let us know. You can go to bit.ly/BTS_guest to fill out a form, drop a person's name, let us know who you think you'd like to see on the air.
Cool. And I want to remind everyone that if you missed part of the show, you can actually come back and watch the whole thing on our YouTube channel, which is www.youtube.com/behindthescanner.
And well, next week Kelly's going to be with us again because she's going to fill Daphne's shoes, and very well filled, by the way. And please join Kelly on his happy hour on Tuesday at 9 p.m. If you want more information about this, you can go to her personal page on G+, or to the Meridian Project G+ page.
Yeah, we'll put a link for both of those in our YouTube details, so you can find information about Kelly's Ingress Happy Hour. Also, next week, we have Brandon Downey and Kelly, I want to say Rival, I don't know if it's Rival, but from California. It should be entertaining to say the least. So, Thursday night, next Thursday, 9 p.m.
Oh, yes.
Eastern Daylight Time. That's -4 GMT. So we switch over a couple months from now. Brandon Downey and Kelly Rubel are going to be joining us. Thank you all, and happy hacking.
Happy hacking.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.